As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad, and also to our guest speaker, Dr. Nadeem Hassan. Today is the Krishna Jayanti day. Greetings to all the participants. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, a NAC accredited with A grade deemed to be university, and it's a Centers of Excellence, Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, extend greetings to all the participants from abroad and India who are attending today's national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022 and beyond, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. The webinar is being hosted on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and the entire video, the telecast, is available in the university website. Shobhit University-webinar.doubling-farmer-income. In this URL, it is available. Today is 7th September 2023. The webinar on the topic is Smart Tribal Farming, Integrated Farm Health Management System for Improving Food, Income and Livelihood Security of Tribal Farmers of Budgam, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. This topic is coming on the, very closely on the, seminar talk, which we had on 17th August 2023 by Dr. Sundaram Seshadri. Is on the topic Smart Tribal Farming, Empowering Tribal Farmers through Indigenous and Frontier Technologies for Sustainable Livelihood Opportunities and Economic Prosperity. And it is very important that, economic, sustainable livelihood opportunities and economic prosperity. And today's topic, it will unlock a lot of potentials. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Centers of Excellence, namely Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, and Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, and the Center for Healthy Informatics and Computing. So the Center for Health Informatics and Computing is a very important center of excellence, and also will collaborate with such type of projects, of integrated farm health management system. Let us welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Nadeem Hassan. He is the scientist in the specialization of animal science from Krishi Vigyan Kendra, Budgam. Sher-e-Kashmir, University of Agricultural Science and Technology of Kashmir, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. I wish to inform the participants and our guest speaker that the university regularly conducts two webinar series, namely National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 and beyond, and on every Thursday, and International Webinar Series on Open Source Digital Technology towards Self-Reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, on every Saturday. For the benefits of the participants and the guest speaker, under this webinar series, the university has organized 116 webinars on very important topic. To list out all the webinar topics, it will take more time. But I will list out some very important one. Each topic can lead to establishment of an agri-tech startup. And this should have agriculture graduates, engineering graduates, and computer science graduates, and farmers. This is very important. And first one, we started with role of agricultural cooperative societies and e-governance. We have 1 lakh primary agriculture cooperative societies, about 1.5 lakh dairy cooperative societies, and there are many agriculture marketing cooperative societies, and so on and so forth. And each cooperative society should have an agri-tech startup associated with them to facilitate the members of the society to make farming, to get benefited by farming as a service. So these societies itself can bring in about something like 2.5 lakh agri-tech startups. Now, in addition to that, the government supported 10,000 farmer produce organizations. Each one should bring farming as a service. Enough opportunities in the country. And then we have so many topics: spices, informatics, network value chain, land and a camera, a camouflaged treasure trove, smart hill agriculture, smart digitalized hill agriculture value systems, digital agri-tech and industry perspective by Dr. Sankita Mentharetta from Bayer Crop Science, India, New Delhi, and weather decision technologies for increasing farm income, and sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture by Dr. Nadarajan from the Farmer Principal Scientist, Pedology, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning, Bengaluru. How to generate additional profit by a simple, attractive approach in farm produce. Role of technologies in mitigating crop risk. It is very important. And adoption of flexi rubber check dam technology. Potential benefit for farmers in rain-fed and coastal ecosystems. Closing the nutrient loop. Phosphorus management in protein farming. Improving nutrient use efficiency and farm productivity. Artificial intelligence enabled pest management technology for agriculture crop protection without pesticides. Sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase. Role of geographical indications on improving farmers' income. Lessons from Asia Pacific region. Dairy informatics network value chain. Generating sustainable on-farm income through fintech intervention. Nutrition sensitive agriculture, pathway for increasing farmers' income. Artificial intelligence, data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease. Bioenergy supply chain, a business opportunity for rural enterprises and farmer produce organization. Tech enabling India's tech-starved farmers for manifold increase in productivity and income. Open insurance ecosystem for agriculture producers. We should bring risk management solutions to overcome repercussions on farmers' income, market stability, and food safety. Role of mass media for farmers' income increase. Agri-tech, a new horizon in Indian agriculture. Rural transformation for farmers' income increase. Case studies from impoverished districts. Mobile-enabled software as a service to solve complex supply chain challenges. A case study from daily orders. Post-production intervention. Maximizing value for farmers. BAFE models of revival of traditional water management to enable doubling of farmers' income. Should be adopted farmers' welfare as a new paradigm instead of farmers' income. From a talk from NABARD headquarters. Democratizing the future of farming. A global experience. Data-driven agriculture. An agri-tech startup perspective. Agribusiness potentials in Moringa. Agriculture income pathway, a strengthening links between agriculture activities and nutrition outcomes. Cultivating dignity for farmers. Market-driven agriculture. Need for development of crop-specific strategies at block level. Now we are talking about smart tribal farming. Lessons from Operation Flood. for transforming agriculture and food systems, sustainable food protection, agriculture marketing in India, defects therein and remedial measures, if any. Have you learned any lessons? Impacting lives through livelihood promotions and value chain development. Agriculture value chain, challenges and opportunities. Mushroom cultivation, a way towards self-reliance from agriculture waste and providing nutritional food security to the nation. Doubling income of tribal families through value chain intervention on minor forest producer. Potential role of minor fruits in achieving nutritional and livelihood security by Dr. Kunwar, former Vice Chancellor, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. Untapped potential for growth. Co-create solutions to realize gains for farms, households, and communities. Today's topic is addressing this issue. Neem tree, sustainable solutions to livelihood, chemical-free, nutritious food, and global warming. One district to one product informatics network value chain. Way for unlocking India's potential of agri-exports. Export promotion of GI-tagged agricultural products from India. Issues, challenges, and potentials. Doubling Indian farmers' income through indigenous cows, opportunities and challenges. Livestock insurance ecosystem, a necessity for smallholder farmers in India. Innovative future farming, a need for design and agriculture. Of course, this talk was postponed on the request of the speaker. Empowering rural farmers by co-creating value-added products, an agri-techpreneurs perspective. Food value chain, issues, challenges, and potential. Animal health industry, quality, innovation, talent, and technology have the power to transform. Quality, innovation, talent, and technology have powers to transform. Farm-linked agriculture and secondary agriculture, which will empower small and marginal farmers in India. Agriculture resources information system. We don't have a comprehensive agricultural resources information system, which will empower small, and micro level planning for enhancing farm health. Agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for enhancing farm health, growth and structural transformation in agriculture in India, moving to the next level. Fisheries value chain, empowering fisherfolk and allied workers through digitalized fishery input management systems. Smart and collaborative agriculture, the way of the future. Climate resilient smart hill agriculture, climate resilient smart hill agriculture. Jawad Hills 2050, it is a very important topic. Pay agri, market linkage to farmers through digitalized agri value chain. Land policy reform for doubling farmers' income. Smart tribal farming, step towards the operationalization of doubling farmers' income by 2022 committee recommendation. Organic farming, key to doubling farmers' income. Smart tribal farming, empowering particularly vulnerable tribal groups, Chenchu tribe. Smart tribal farming, doubling ginger crop yield through natural farming method in Arakku Valley, Alluri, Sitaramaraju district. Smart tribal farming, empowering tribal farmers, Koya Kondarati region of Godavari region through digital technology in sustainable agriculture and zero budget natural farming. Doubling farmers' income, empowering through bioenergy farming and creating a more nutritious and sustainable food supply. And smart tribal farming, empowering tribal farmers through indigenous and frontier technologies for sustainable livelihood opportunities and economic prosperity. Today is the 117th edition of this national webinar series, which will be addressed by Dr. Nadeem Hassan on a very important topic, integrated farm health management system for improving food security, income security, and livelihood security of tribal farmers. Very important national goals. of the tribal farmers of Budgam. I strongly feel that this should emerge as a pilot project and under smart tribal farming, which can be replicated almost all tribal areas of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. To develop any sector of economy, a nation essentially needs four main synchronized interventions, namely enabling policy environment, state-of-the-art technologies, financing mechanism, and entrepreneurship capacity. Acharya Vinoba Bhave said, India is largely an agricultural country, Krishi Pradhan Desh, and country of villages, having more than 6.25 lakh villages. Agriculture sector is the foundation of Indian economy, is a land of villages. The share of agriculture in the country's gross domestic product, GDP, declined substantially, but there was only marginal decline in the number of persons dependent on agriculture. The agriculture sector currently contributes nearly 20% of total GDP, which still accounts for about 55% of total employment, according to Economic Survey 2020-2021, which has been quoted by in the synopsis of the today's guest speaker. Agriculture sector is the main source of food, employment, and income for about 70 to 80% of the people suffering from hunger in developing countries. Climate change has both the direct and indirect effects on agriculture productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, flooding, and changes in the geographical redistribution of pests and diseases. Farmers of India are facing multidimensional problems: price fluctuation, debt, and lack of infrastructure and weather. Farmer needs timely, location-specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, at the 7th Governing Council of Niti Aayog Team India meeting held on 7th August 2022 in New Delhi, he said in his opening address, I quote, "The need to focus on modernized agriculture, animal husbandry, and food processing to become self-sufficient and global leader in the agriculture. We have undertaken reforms through digitalization of agriculture system." I would like to quote recommendations from the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report 2018. It is popularly known as Dr. Ashok Dalwai Committee on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022. I have been closely associated as the group leader for 2 volumes. Volume 11, which talked about empowering the farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination. And volume 12B is digital technology in agriculture, which talks about 7 mission mode programs. India has given a framework-based digitalization of Indian agriculture system, which will facilitate 145 million operational holders in India, which consist of 89% small and marginal operational holdings. This framework is also applicable for all countries in the developing nation which has agriculture as their national economy. And I also would like to quote our Honorable Prime Minister, who said on 29th November 2020 in Man Ki Baat, he said, I quote, "Our farmers, farm sector, villages are the foundation of Atmanirbhar Bharat." Smart tribal farming is a digital transformation of agriculture in tribal areas for many-folding tribal farmers' income. I also would like to list out the 7 mission mode programs: digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture sector, synergization of Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, Scale Up India, and so on, many other programs at village level to transform agriculture in three categories. Startup irrigated agriculture, startup rainfed agriculture, and smart tribal agriculture. Smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Many people asked me, Professor Moni, it's very nice that you talked about smart irrigated farming and smart rainfed farming. What do you mean by smart tribal farming? I told them that there was a tribal sub-plan. It is there for decades. How many technologies have gone under the tribal agriculture land? It is yet to reach. There can be sporadic operational experiments. And this has to be, is the mainstream. Like you would like to bring, everybody wants to bring technology in agriculture in the mainland. And it is a digitalized India. And we would like to become new India by 2047. India has got 142,000 tribal villages. Government of India in 2020 have declared that each tribal village, 142,000 tribal village will become model village. When it will become? Until unless the agriculture gets modernized. Agriculture of the tribal land has to become, technology enabled. That's why I said that now tribal sub-plan has to have a component, so smart tribal farming in tribal land throughout the country. And second one is digitalized agromet advisories and agriculture risk management solutions. Digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village, smart farming. I initiated the programs way back in 2000. Agriculture resources information system based on a task force report which was submitted to the government by 2002. And digitalized agriculture value chain for 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers. They should not run from pillar to post. Digitalized integrated land and water management. No water should be wasted. India gets more rainfall than Israel. And digitalized integrated land and water management systems. And digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss. That is integrated approach of human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health. I appreciate Dr. Mir Nadeem Hassan to talk on this important topic with respect to Budgam. And we have Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. We have Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, to make India a self-reliant nation rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation. Based on 5 pillars: a quantum jump in economy. In infrastructure, one represents modern India, means modern village. System, 21st century technology driven. Vibrant demography. Every rural youth should become an entrepreneur. Demand verify strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. And we have Amrit Kaal led up to 100. Next is 75 years. What type of programs we should adopt? India's budget 2023 talks about Saptarishi priorities. It talks about digital public infrastructure for agriculture, digital public infrastructure for agriculture, based on open source, open standard, and interoperable public good that will help farmer-centric solutions for crop planning. It also encourage agri startups and natural farming. It also talks about particularly vulnerable tribal groups development mission. And this is very important. There are 75 tribal groups have been declared as particularly vulnerable tribal groups in India. We have 17 sustainable development goals and 169 targets to be achieved. Digitalization of agriculture will facilitate achieving many sustainable development goals in terms of biosphere, in terms of socio-economic, and in terms of society. It is that one sector digitalization will facilitate. And informatics network value chain is essential in agriculture sector. That's why Doubling Farmers Income Committee report talks about 400 agriculture commodity value chain. I was instrumental from the beginning, from 1987, as a project director for a district information system for 28 sectoral database development. And in 95, I was instrumental in visualizing 15 informatics network, put under the caption Digital Networks for Farmer, which is an informatics blueprint for improving agricultural productivity and sustainable rural livelihoods, which was envisaged through the first conference, national conference on informatics for sustainable agriculture development, May 1995, ISDA 95. AgriSnet, AgMarkNet, SeedNet, HeartNet, Animal Production Health Network, Fisheries Network, and so on and so forth. And then government came in 2005, National E-Governance Plan, and in 2008, National E-Governance in Agriculture. And Digital India 2015 aims at, much needed thrust through 9 pillars of growth areas. And we have even the budget 2023-24 also talks to keep digitization, e-governance high on Government of India's agenda. Smart and collaborative agriculture is the way of the future. Future of farming is based on 4 technologies. We have seen green revolution, GREN, hybrid seed, chemical fertilizer, and assured irrigation and public policy. We have seen its merits and demerits. But now, we have 4,500 engineering colleges, 450 agriculture colleges, 75 agriculture university, 1,500 deemed to be university, and 105 ICR institutions. They should undertake green revolution. This is GRIN, genomics, robotics, informatics, and nanotechnology. 4,500 engineering colleges should become part and parcel of this green revolution. And we need to bring farming as a service and digital agriculture as the main component to help 145 million operational holders. Agroecological and sustainable agriculture are the stepping stone. And budget 2023 also boosts to natural farming. Eco farming revolution is taking place. 7 basic principles of eco farming: food sovereignty, rewarding rural livelihoods, smarter food production and yields, biodiversity conservation, sustainable soil, ecological pest protection, food resilience. Diverse and resilient agriculture, not monoculture crops, is the best way to protect communities from shocks from climate and food prices. Regenerative agriculture and organic farming are complement to each other. Smart tribal farming, empowering tribal farmers through indigenous and frontier technology for sustainable livelihood opportunities and economic prosperity. Frontier indigenous technologies have to be documented. Traditional agriculture is a sustainable agriculture. And frontier technologies, which are being promoted by various schemes. Dr. Vijendra Singh, Hon'ble Union Minister for S&T, has announced 30 science and technology innovation hubs, STA hubs, for scheduled tribes by the end of 2022 for their overall socio-economic development. It also talks about tribal sub-plan, technological intervention for tribal empowerment, granting aid scheme of the department under tribal sub-plan aims at improving living conditions and empowerment of scheduled tribe based on sustainable science and technology. This project, Smart Tribal Farming, we are aiming at will become a center of excellence and also will become science, technology, innovation hub for ST area. And this is very important. Under this, what is being expected? Land use, ecology, environment, and energy by promoting S&T activities. Forest agriculture interface and indigenous people. Effective and sustainable utilization of available natural resources. Development opportunities for local communities and around protected areas. Application of S&T for manpower development to generate additional sources of income. Facilitation of technology mission mode projects. And sensitizing voluntary agencies, scientists of laboratories, and related agencies to S&T approach for tribal development. I also would like to quote science, international conference on significance of technology in empowering tribal community of India held on 23rd, 24th August 2022 at Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. It talks about significance of technology in empowering tribal community of India. We have taken a leading step for operationalization, which was talked in Ashok Dalwai committee report in the form of digital technology in agriculture, and the other component is smart tribal farming. It also includes 13 areas, out of which I would like to quote 3 or 4 relevant for this: tribal way of life and sustainable development, indigenous knowledge systems, health, education, and agriculture technology for tribal welfare, and promotion of innovation and entrepreneurship for tribal welfare, digital repository of tribal culture, and ICT and tribal empowerment, and technology and women empowerment. Technology, the challenges to indigenous faith in the modern world and challenges to indigenous tribal languages. Integrated farm health management for improving food, income, livelihood security for tribal farmers. Health informatics network value chain is very important for achieving sustainable development goals through our health platform and reduce disease burden by interconnecting human, animal, and environmental health and soil health. We had 3 topics in the webinar series. One on 77th edition by the then Agriculture Animal Husbandry Commissioner, Health Informatics Network Value Chain, National Animal Disease Reporting System, NADRS, NADRS 2012. I was instrumental in operationalizing in 7,032 locations in the country to monitor 143, ODE, notified diseases. And then in its 81st edition, we had another talk by Dr. Ganapathy. He is the principal scientific advisor fellow. He is Dr. Sindhura Ganapathy. He talked on health informatics network value chain, building of one health ecosystem, role of digital agriculture. And he talked about there are many challenges, sector is critical for India. And largely this sector is unorganized and fragmented. Many national schemes that operate in silos. I talked about that. And major diseases affect farmers' livelihood, growth of the sector, and limit exports. Need for robust disease surveillance and importance of One Health approach, not matured regulatory ecosystem compared to the human health system, not mature regulatory ecosystem compared to the human health system, minimal private sector participation. Most of the field and administrative operations are paper-based and hence limit the power of data aggregation, analytics, and broader data access. And it is 160 billion dairy industry. It is growing at 12% CAGR. And meat market alone $50 billion. And it supports the bottom of the economic pyramid. And the daily products, it's becoming net exporter. And we have poultry sector, cattle sector, buffalo sector, and sheep sector, goats sector, and big sector. and technologies and implications for veterinary services, wireless and mobile technology for health monitoring and data analytics used to uncover hidden you know, and wireless and mobile technology for animal health monitoring, disease surveillance, reporting, and information sharing. Advanced data processing technologies for such as big data and data analytics used to uncover hidden pattern, prediction, correlation, and other information. This component was the second part of NADRS 2012. It was not approved. Promising technologies such as blockchain application used for effective and efficient management of various input supply chain. With this background, let us now turn to the address by Dr. Nadeem Hassan, scientist, animal science, Krishi Vigyan Kendra Budgam, Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture Science and Technology of Kashmir, University of Jammu and Kashmir, on a very important topic, smart tribal farming, integrated farm health management system for improving food, income, and livelihood security of tribal farmers of Budgam, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Dear participants, it talks about human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health. Digitalization leads to $1 trillion economy in the world. India should take a lead. It can have a data center with 10,000 data scientists working in health data alone. As of now, it is vertical. And what we need is a program, a human resources development program, MSc in health informatics program. Biology students with human health, plant pathology, animal pathology, fish pathology, water health, soil health, and environmental health. And these people will have a highest potential job opportunity. They will even get more salary than the so-called present IT professionals. This today's topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching through facebook.com/Shobhit University India, youtube.com Shobhit University in, or linkedin.com/company/Shobhit for establishing startups, health informatics network value chain of smart tribal farming in association with KVK Budgam, facilitating agricultural and rural transformation in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The objective of this talk is to ensure the desired integrated farm health care services and awareness about the latest technology and scheme offered by the government in remotest tribal areas according to the preferred time of the farmers with very less nominal costs, so as to increase the productivity and make integrated farming a profitable venture, according to the synopsis of Dr. Nadeem Hassan. Let us unlock the opportunities in India at the earliest. The secret to doubling the farmer's income lies in the efficiency. I will introduce the Dr. Nadeem Hassan to the audience. Mr. Manish, can you put the profile? Yes. Dr. Nadeem Hassan, working as a scientist, animal science in Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture Science and Technology of Kashmir, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, has 10 years of teaching, research, and extension experience. Dr. Nadeem graduated from Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture Science and Technology, Jammu, and obtained masters in veterinary microbiology and immunology, and obtained masters in veterinary microbiology and immunology from Gurdwara, Ludhiana, and PhD from Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture Science and Technology, Kashmir. Dr. Nadeem Hassan is a recipient of SS Dhillon Gold Medal during his master program. He is also a recipient of Gold Medal for securing first rank at university level during PhD program, and merit cum means a scholarship from Ministry of Minority Affairs, Government of India. Dr. Nadeem Hassan has also qualified ICR Junior Research Fellowship, All India rank 29, National Eligibility Test in Paraclinical Veterinary Sciences. He has to his credit more than 40 papers published in national and international scientific journals. Dr. Mir Nadeem Hassan has handled 10 externally funded research projects in the capacity of project investigator and co-project investigator. He also is the coordinator of two centrally sponsored farmer produce organization operation in Budgam area of Jammu and Kashmir. Dr. Hassan is also editor of 4 books of national level publication. He has more than 20 books chapter published. And he is also recipient of ICR's Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Rashtriya Krishi Vigyan Prastatan Praskar as a team member of KVK Leh in Union Territory of Ladakh. He has 2 years of rich experience of serving in tribal areas of Ladakh, Nyoma, and Janskar at an altitude of 13,000 feet above mean sea level. At the KVK Sanskar, Dr. Nadeem has been a part of externally funded project titled Technology Intervention for Improving Food Income Security and Livelihood of Cargill Farmers and the Tribal Subplan, a success story of which has been published at national level by Indian Council of Agriculture Research. With this, I welcome Dr. Mir Nadeem Hassan to the national webinar series. Please go to the previous one. National webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022 and beyond. Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture, 117th edition, 7th September 2023. Over to you, sir. Just 1 minute.
Thank you, Professor Moni. At the outset, I would like to thank Professor Moni, Honorable Vice Chancellor and Honorable Chancellor of Shobhit University, for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022 and beyond. And as already said by Professor Moni, this is 117th webinar on the title Smart Tribal Farming, Integrated Farm Health Management System for Improving Food, Income and Livelihood Security of Tribal Farmers of Budgam, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you all of you, sir. And I will like to thank my head senior scientist and head KVK Budgam, Dr. Bilal Ahmed Lone Sabkar, again giving me an opportunity to be a part of it, for introducing me to Professor Moni for this noble cause of Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. And I also welcome all the participants, those who are watching this program live through YouTube, through Facebook, and other through social media platforms. So I've been asked to discuss about this small tribal farming with the title I've already mentioned. Before going into the main topic, we need to understand about the tribal farmers, what actually their burden is, what are their unmet needs, and how better we can have a roadmap to address the challenge which are there from decades together. The Constitution of India, it gives them a security. It gives them, under the Constitution of India, it recognizes the tribals, it gives them the status of scheduled tribes, and it also provides safeguard to protect their rights and cultures. Despite huge number of these tribal population, which is around 104 million as per 2011 census, they have remained marginalized with respect to geography, socio-economically, politically, and we the people who are living in the mainstreams, who are living in the towns or living in the cities, we believe that these are some kind of naked, semi-naked people who live in the mountains and who live in the hilly areas. And then they are in the news for all the wrong reasons, like the mortality of the children, the health issues, the malnutrition their children face, and all those issues, they are in the news for those reasons. Despite the fact that Government of India has taken so many initiatives at the national level, or at the UT level, or at the state level, under different schemes, under different plans like Tribal Subplan, The healthcare, if we talk about the healthcare system, the needs of the tribal communities, the healthcare framework which was applied to the rural India, the same was applied to the tribal communities as well. But if we look closely, the tribal communities, they live at a different environment, they have different culture, they have different social setup, and obviously their needs are different. And despite the fact that over 60 years of independence, we, there are unmet needs of these tribal communities. There are unsolved problems of these tribal people, despite all those efforts. So here in this topic, looking at the challenges they face, looking at the burden they have, we'll be discussing about the main burden with respect to the health sector, maybe the farm health sector, or that may be the animal health or the human health sector. Then what better roadmap can we have just to address those needs, just to meet out the needs and the problems these tribal people face? At the backdrop, since the topic itself says that it is with respect to district Budgam, if I talk of our union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, it is inhabited by the scheduled tribes, which constitute about 11.9% of the total population as per 2011 census, which is higher than the national average, which is around 8.9%. And again, in our part of the district, this is the district scenario of Budgam. We live at an altitude of around 1610 to 2200 meters. Geographical area is 1371 square kilometers. Gross irrigated area is 37551 hectares. We have total sown area 55734 hectares. Forest area is 477 kilometers. Population is 7.35 lakhs and 28,000 are the tribal population, 4 to 5%. So this is about the brief about our district profile. Then coming to the main part of it, what actually are the burden on the tribal communities? What are the problems, their issues they are facing? Unless and until we have a clear picture of the problems they are facing, the burden they are suffering from, we won't be able to have a proper roadmap. This is very important. We need to understand their challenge. Sitting at the cozy offices, having all the facilities available with us, having all the developmental facilities, infrastructural facilities available with us, we might not be able to understand to the full what these people are suffering. But let me take you through some of the major burdens of these tribal communities. Number first is they suffer from communicable diseases. Communicable diseases, you name any communicable disease, it can be leprosy, it can be tuberculosis, it can be malaria. Their maternal and child health problems are very prevalent. If you see, majority of the children of those tribal areas, they are having low body weight, their BMI is very low, they suffer from malnutrition. The pregnant and the lactating females, they don't get enough of nutrition during their pregnancy. With the result, they suffer from low body weight, they suffer from anemia and other multiple health issues. And this malnutrition, it continues to prevail. Even if I can say there has been a considerable improvement with respect to malnutrition by the efforts of the government, but still a lot needs to be done in this area. There are still unexplored area in this sector. The other thing, they suffer from non-communicable diseases since they live at geographically disadvantageous positions, areas. They live at isolated places. They do have mental stress. They suffer from tobacco addiction and other kinds of addictions also. Number third burden, which is very obvious, is that since they live close to forest areas, they are close to the wild animals, they suffer from snake bites, animal bites, and they are prone to accidents. You name any natural calamity, that will strike them first. Be it in our part of the world, like in our part of the valley, it can be heavy snowfall, it can be snow avalanche, it can be cloud bursts, it can be flash floods. So these people are at risk of those miseries. And then difficult conditions or geographical condition, terrain is difficult, different harsh conditions are there. Then again, there is worse socio-economic determinants. Their socio-economic condition is very poor. As per stats which are available, even though there are very little stats available, not much work has been done to collect the data and to interpret and analyze that. But whatever data is available, as per that, 40.6% of scheduled tribe people, they live below poverty line, as comparison to 20% which is of the non-scheduled communities. 10% of these scheduled tribe communities have access to tap water, in comparison to 28.5% of non-scheduled tribe areas. So the access to amenities, basic amenities, is very poor in those areas. That speaks of their socio-economic condition. That speaks of their socio-economic determinants. Then if we talk about the sanitation, even though sanitation has improved considerably by the intervention of the government to promote open defecation, to make India open defecation free, but as per previous reports, 3 out of 4 people were defecating openly in those areas, in tribal areas. That speaks of poor sanitation they have. And not to talk of education. If we talk of education, illiteracy rate is very high in those areas. It's around 41% as comparison to 30% in non-tribal communities. They have poor income, the housing, the connectivity, the infrastructure development is not to that extent which should have been there at place. So these are the socio-economic determinants of those people living in the tribal areas. Then they have their health, the health of humans, the health of animals, the health of plants is not appropriate. It's where they are suffering from poor health quality. There are obvious reasons for that. They don't have these quality health service available to them. The manpower, the professionals who are working in health sector or any other sector, they are not ready to work in these hilly areas, under these difficult conditions. They're not ready to work in these tribal areas. And this problem is compounded by the fact that we are not able to upskill the local the manpower which is there, the local human resource there. We are not able to upskill them. We need to upskill the local community. We need to provide them the scientific skill. We need to provide them the knowledge. We need to make them aware about things. And that is the main thing which we need to do. We need to work on those people. If we at all, we need to change all these socio-economic, political, and geographical these hazards. Then all the tribal health issues I mentioned, all the burdens I mentioned, this again, the lack of data, lack of monitoring and evaluation, it masks above mentioned problems. We don't have enough of data available with us. We don't have enough monitoring and evaluation which has been conducting over the previous years. That needs to be done. We need to have data. We need to carry out the survey, the baseline surveys, the monitoring and evaluation, so that we can have sufficient data to analyze and to work on that, and to find out the needs, to find out the gaps the gaps are existing, so that accordingly we can have a roadmap. We can plan and strategize to just address the problems which we are talking about, which our mission is that we need to address their problems in the larger interest of our tribal communities, who are a major part of our system, who are a major part of our population. Then we have few questions to be answered. The question, very important question, is that what is the present status of farm health and human health, animal health and healthcare in animal areas? If I talk of my own Budgam district, we don't have enough of data available with us with regards to this. So we need to get to the status of that, and we need to find out the gap. Then after we will get the data, we will be able to know the gap. Then we can obviously we will be able to have a roadmap for the future to bridge the gap rapidly. Without this, we won't be able to find out the roadmap. Even if a holistic roadmap, even if a comprehensive roadmap can be devised based upon the status which we'll get and based upon the existing gaps we can have. So these questions need to be answered. Then this is the roadmap which can be adopted. This is a holistic and comprehensive roadmap which we need to adapt in tribal areas, so as the smart tribal farm is concerned. It speaks of integrated farm health management, integrated farm management, which is the need of the hour. Since all the areas, as Professor Moni was talking about the fact that all areas are interrelated. Say you name any of the area, you name human health, you name the animal health, you name this agricultural health, crop health, or environment health, climate health, they are all interrelated. We need to work in an integrated manner. Then only we will be able to address the gap. We have to leave the individualistic approach. We have to come to a common platform. We have to work together in a cohesive manner. Then only we will be able to just address the challenge to a larger extent. It starts from organization and planning. I discussed about how we can organize things, how we can get the status, how we can get the data, and then obviously how we can better plan, find a roadmap. Then the first thing comes there, soil health management. Obviously, everything starts from soil. If your soil is fertile, if your soil is nutrient rich, it transfers into the plants or vegetables or fruits or fodder, whatever it is, and they are obviously then consumed by the humans, they are consumed by the animals, and so on and so forth. So obviously the focus needs to be primarily on the soil health. How that can be done, I have a couple of slides for that as well, but here just I'm going briefly over the things that what is the approach we need to follow. Then obviously the second comes crop health and protection. In crop health and protection, if the soil, we are able to manage the soil in the proper way, obviously the plants will be having good physical structure, they will be healthy plants, but even then there can be pest infestation, there can be disease outbreaks in the plants, which can be managed by certain ways like integrated pest management, integrated nutrient management, and digitalization. We can use the drone technology, artificial intelligence. This is the era of artificial intelligence, where we can use the drone technology, which can locate in a huge area of hundreds of hectares. It can identify where exactly there is a disease in a plant. It can identify that, and we will be able to address that plant-based treatment, so that in larger aspect, the plant health is protected. Then obviously when we talk of farming, agriculture farming, livestock farming, we need to control the pollution. There will be waste byproducts from the agriculture, from the livestock sector, and these byproduct waste can be converted into wealth. We say that waste to wealth. For example, we have manure, we can convert that livestock manure into vermicompost. That's turning waste into gold. So we can have multiple approaches how we can convert the byproduct, which are otherwise we find they are not so beneficial, they are not of any use, but we can convert using the modern technologies. We can convert those byproducts and those things into wealth. Then the important part is animal husbandry. Animal husbandry, as we know that if we talk of our area, Budgam district, the mainstay of the tribal people, they are heavily dependent on livestock. And livestock industry, it contributes heavily to the agricultural GDP. And it's bank on whose, we call it bank on whose for tribal communities. And if we are able to manage the animal health, then we will be able, it will be beneficial for agriculture sector, since it's the subsector of agriculture, and it can have direct and indirect effect on the human health. How it directly affects the human health is that Professor Moni talked about the One Health approach, which is a very fast moving and focused approach of across the world, across the globe. One Health means there are about 60-70% diseases which originate from animals and they get transmitted to humans. So unless and until we are not able to prevent disease in animals, we won't be able to control disease in humans. So it's very imperative, it's very necessary that we control the disease in animals. Then only we will be able to promote the disease in humans, and we will be able to uplift the human health. So that's very important. That's the direct impact which will be having there. The other is through production means. If the animal health is good, the production will be automatically good. You talk of in the form of meat production, in the form of milk production, and that will be consumed by the people, and their health in turn, they will get the protein, they will get the calories, they will get the energy, and they will get all the nutrients which are required if the animal health is good, and indirectly the human are benefited by this means. Then we need to have energy efficiency. We need to convert energy. Energy is important cost from environment. We need to look at the energy efficiency, how better we can conserve the energy, how better we can utilize the energy, utilizing by proper tilling, by input use, by other means. So we need to conserve that as well. Water management is also very important. Water is a natural resource. It's a gift for all of us, and it must be at the heart of integrated farm management. This is era of artificial intelligence. We are going to save water. We need to save the water by means of drip irrigation, plant whatever water that's required by the plant, that can be provided in the form of drip irrigation, so that the water is not wasted. And we have, in case of animal husbandry, there are sensors in the form of neck collars which are available there. They can be attached to the animal, that gives us an idea that how much water requirement is of the animal, how much the animal has taken, how much amount of water the animal has taken, how much amount of the feed the animal has taken. So accordingly we can strategize, we can plan things, we can save water. So that's very important, where we need to work on. Then landscape and natural conservation is also, once we talk of tribal communities, it's beautiful landscape, the forest cover is there, we need to maintain the forest cover, deforestation needs to be prevented, and other than that we need to work on landscape as well. Then ultimately all things will be possible only if we will engage the society. Engaging the society, engaging the tribal community is very important. By engaging, I mean to say that they need to know, the people, tribal communities, they need to know that what we are doing, how we are doing, and why we are doing these things. Why these interventions? What is the impact? What shall be the impact of the intervention? Why we need to the impact intervention? We need the involvement of the community. Unless and until the community is not itself involved, nothing is going to change. So that is very important, that we need to engage the society, the tribal communities need to be engaged. This is the holistic approach which will eventually lead us to Atmanirbhar Bharat if it's implemented properly. So I'll be discussing it by then if we talk of integrated farm health management task, it can be approached in 4 stages. I have already discussed some of the stages, but again, these are the stages which we need to keep in mind. First is that we need to have evidence, data, and experience the present status of integrated farm health in tribal areas, which can lead us to formulation of diagnosis of integrated farm health. Second stage is that we should be having the principles and goals of integrated farm health management. We should have set principles, we should have set goals. Unless and until our target is fixed, we will not be able to achieve them. We need to fix our target, we need to fix our goals based upon specific principles. That should be our way of working. And the third part is that how we can integrate, how should we integrate farm health, human health resources in tribal areas. Then obviously the important part of it is that we need finances for that, we need support from the government, we need knowledge. Without that, it's not, all these things which we are discussing, they won't be possible unless and until we get the support, financial support from the government. Already the government is supporting in the form of tribal sub-plans, in the form of other schemes. They can be centrally sponsored schemes, or they can be the state sponsored schemes, UT sponsored schemes. But what we need to know, what we need from the government is that for this smart tribal farming, we need to have a dedicated budget for this smart tribal farming out of centrally sponsored. Maybe it can be out of tribal sub-plan, or it can be up to UT's tribal plan. It can be there, but there must be a dedicated budget for this purpose. Only then we will be able to mitigate the challenge. We'll be able to meet out the challenge, but on the basis of these 4 stages, which I already discussed. Then I'm sorry, the slide looks shabby. It's maybe there is the problem while uploading. But the principles of integrated farm health management, what are the principles? I told you that our second approach stage should be that it should be based upon certain principles. The principle number 1 is appropriateness. Our farm health delivery and content, it must be appropriate to the needs and culture of each tribe and locality. The needs can vary. The needs of this tribe which are living in our area, Budgam, they can vary from the other tribes living in other parts of the country. It can vary from geography to geography. So we need to address the issues, and we need to deliver on the basis of the needs. So appropriateness is very important. Our focus roadmap should be appropriate to the needs of each tribe and based upon its locality. Then the human resource. As I already discussed, our focus should be to upskill the local human resource, local tribal people who are there, educated rural youth are there. We need to upskill them. We need to provide them with scientific knowledge. Only then we can change their condition. We can't be introduce somebody from the external side and ask them to change them. Unless and until they change themselves, then only that can be revolutionary. So first has to be on that we need to develop a human resource. We need to develop a pool. Human resource development should be there of local in the form of skill development training programs and other so on and so forth. Then third principle must be outreach, service, and mobile care. Outreach has to be there. It can outreach of all those who are implementing this project. They have to be there. Outreach of agencies, outreach of government. We have to reach to these people. We have to reach to their at their doorstep. We can't be staying in our cozy offices and trying to just work out things. We have to go there. We have to work closely in association with them. We have to understand their needs. We have to understand their problems. We have to be with them. And then mobile care. This part of the valley, one more important challenge which our tribal people are facing is that extreme weather conditioning during extreme winters. Since they live in hilly areas, this is very cold region. There is heavy snowfall. The road connectivity is not proper. At times, we are not able to approach them. So connectivity is very important. That mobile care connectivity. I'll be discussing about that in veterinary when I discuss about the animal husbandry part. Then knowledge and skill transfer. Knowledge, since they don't have enough of knowledge, they don't have enough of skill, they don't have scientific knowledge. They still use these old age practices for livestock rearing, for other things. That needs to change. They need to know that how better we can evaluate as a community. So that needs to be done. That we need to make them understand that thing. And then obviously use of technology. Technology, it is era of digital technology. It has to be translated. It has to reach to them. It is the era of artificial intelligence. It's the era of drone technology. So these technologies, unless and until these scientific technologies will not reach to these tribal people, they won't change. We have to transfer the technology, as the mission of the KVK is the transfer of technology. Whatever the scientific technology is there, we have to work on that. The technology needs to be transferred to the local communities. This is another principle which we need to focus on. Then our management must be comprehensive, which I already talked about, the holistic development. If we need to have a holistic and sustainable development of the tribal communities, we need to have a comprehensive roadmap for that. Integration to address social determinants. I already discussed about the integration, how we can integrate in different areas, how we can work in a collective manner. Then our principles should be flexible and dynamic. Our principles should not be rigid. Once we talk of principles, it should be very flexible and it should be very dynamic. Then financial resources, I already discussed about the financial resources we need. And ultimately, it all will lead to empowerment of tribal communities through knowledge transfer and training, local and community-based human resource, local planning and management, then use of enabling technologies. These all things will lead to empowerment of these tribal communities. Then these things I already discussed in the roadmap itself, but this is just, I'll go through brief these slides. This organizational planning, this is the first step, that good organization and planning is key to integrated farm management. As a starting point, it is important to identify the short and long-term objectives, what we need to address, what are our short-term objectives, what are our long-term objectives which we want to achieve, and then only we will be able to plan and we will be able to organize the things. The second thing is that soil management and fertility. Soil is the basis of all agriculture production, and conservation and improvement and management of this valuable asset, valuable resource, it must be a topmost priority. It must be top-notch priority in adoption of integrated farming system. If our soil is fertile, if your soil is maintained properly, then the plants which grow, the produce which will grow on this, it will be healthy, it will be biologically active, with optimum level of organic matter and good physical structure, then that will serve our purpose. Then again, crop health and protection. After soil health management, we must encourage continual improvement in the pest control measures, integrated nutrient management, with minimum impact on the environment and human health, which will again promote the sustainability and profitability A well-established and managed crop will be more competitive with weeds, more resilient to attack from pests and disease, and should be require fewer plant protection products. Then animal husbandry, I discussed about it that animal husbandry is subset of agriculture, but people in the tribal areas, they are heavily dependent on animal husbandry. Almost every household in tribal communities, they rear animals and they are heavily dependent on it. So we need to focus on this area. We need to have integrated farm management with consideration given to decisions we make on the whole farm and how we'll manage the whole farm. That I'll be discussing. The animal husbandry part will come up later on. Then energy efficiency, it's a significant on-farm cost and it requires very constant monitoring. Then we have to use inputs carefully, appropriate tillage, then optimum, we must focus on optimum yield of varieties, not on the maximum yield of varieties. We need to find out the optimum instead of maximum yields, which will improve energy efficiency and contribute maximum towards the return in the long run. Then water management, I've already discussed about the water management. It's an important natural resource which has a financial and environmental implication to farm business, and we need to manage it in a better and more effective manner, and it should be heart of our approach to IFM. Then managing water wisely as well as assessing and enhancing the efficiency on farm water money and help us plan for future needs. Then pollution control and byproduct management is another part of it. Ultimately, the engagement of the society for the better understanding of farming and rural environment, we need to engage the society at large. So now I'll be coming about to the problem.
Just go to the previous slide.
Okay.
Can you spend some more time on this? That this is very important because we're talking about the tribal farmers and so on and so forth as a society.
As I talked about the society, what are their needs, what are their problems. So it is very essential that we communicate with the society, that we talk to them, we listen to them, we be with them, even if we spend good time to them and in their house. Not we will invite them to our offices and we'll like to know what are the problems they face, but that it's other way around. If we have to go to them, we have to talk to them as if they should feel that somebody is coming and listening to our problems, somebody is communicating to us, and we need to just tell them that what we are going to do, how we can bring an improvement in their condition, what is the engagement we want from their side, how their engagement can help in upliftment of their society. That has to be there, and everybody in the society, they should know whether they are working on the farm or whether they are working around the farm, or maybe they are not working in the farm, or this, they should know that why we are doing particular things, how we are doing, who is doing it, what is the purpose of doing it, what are the objectives that we have. Only then they will, if they will engage, ultimately they have to carry out all the things. They have to, farming has to be done by them and other things have to be done by them. We will be a kind of providing them the hand holding support. We will be telling it how to do it. Just they need to know, because the problem is that the society, they are they don't have proper knowledge. They don't know how to. For example, if I talk of livestock sector, in livestock sector they don't have the proper knowledge of scientific livestock rearing. They are engaged with old tradition rearing. They are still rearing indigenous breeds of animals. They are still rearing indigenous varieties of plants with low productivity, even though they are working hard in their farms, they are working hard in the field, but they are not getting the result, the desired result which they should get. The society, the world has moved very far ahead. We have reached to the moon. The India has reached to the moon. But these people, they need to know it. They need to know that how better we can work at the farm level, how better we can use the scientific knowledge in how better we can use new breeds. In our case, in our valley, previously it used to be that indigenous cattle, they used to produce 4 or 5 liters of milk. Nobody thought of increasing up to 30 liters. But at present, there are many dairy farmers whose per yield is around 30-40 liters in summers. So that is the change which we are seeing on the ground. But that change has to be seen at the tribal communities as well. We need to go to these tribal communities and talk to them. Then only they will understand, they will better understand this farming, and they will better understand that how better we can do it. So that needs to be done, that engaging the society so that their needs and expectations are met by engaging these society, these in these areas. Then again, if we talk of livestock sector, since I have been closely associated, I have worked closely in very difficult terrain of Neoma and Zanaskar. I don't know how many of you have been there, or how many of you have previously, come across the name Neoma. It's a place which is around 14,000 above mean sea level, and let me tell you that in winters the temperature dips to minus 30 degrees Celsius. A minus 30 degrees Celsius is the temperature at that place, and people live there. They live at a distance of 50 kilometers. They are very scattered tribal population, and the livestock sector, pashmina goat rearing and goat and sheep rearing is their major stake. And they are the people, once we meet them, once we listen to them, we come to know that how hard it is to live there, how hard it is to manage a daily routine there. So what are the challenges with respect to our own valley, with respect to Budgam? What are the challenges in livestock sector? We have a lot of challenges in livestock sector. Number one challenge we have is that we lack proper veterinary health services. In hilly areas and far off places of tribal areas, particularly in winter months, the health care is not available to them. In emergency conditions, when there is heavy snowfall, the roads are cut off. They, even in other times also, the healthcare services are not available. The animals are left to die without treatment in these areas. So that is a very important aspect which we need to look into. Then they manage this livestock poorly. As I already discussed in detail, that they don't have scientific knowledge. They don't have any scientific how to manage the farm scientifically. They don't know it. So because of that poor knowledge, they rear indigenous breeds of livestock and varieties of plants with low productivity. They don't have that much of productivity. Artificial insemination has not been properly done in those areas. Coverage of artificial insemination is very less in tribal areas. People, they overgraze their cattle in this, which leads to disaster in pastures. Then there is scarcity of feed and fodder. The main problem with respect to this livestock sector in our area is that we are very much deficient in feed and fodder. Around 60% we are deficient in feed and fodder, and that increases our input cost. Once we rear the animals, this main cost of input is that of feed and fodder, and we are lacking in that. We are falling short in that, and that we usually import feed and fodder from other states, from Punjab, silage, quintals of silage, thousands of quintals of silage annually we import from this Punjab, and other things, feed we import from other areas. We don't have our own input over here, so that is a burden. That is that decreases the overall profitability of livestock sector in our area. That's an area which needs to be looked into. So then we have extreme winter conditions here. We have 6 to 7 months of winter here. Then at that time we need long stall feeding. More than 6 months we keep them in closed conditions, and we stall feed these animals, and the cost of production increases in winters. And on the other side, the production per animal, milk yield per animal decreases because of lack of nutrients, because of lack of proper feeding in winter months. So that goes drastically down. So that's again a problem with respect to this livestock rearing in our area. Then if we talk of agriculture kind of a thing, there's post-harvest losses are very high. You talk of fruit industry, you talk of vegetable industry, because of poor market, because of no proper post-harvest technology. There is huge post-harvest losses are there in farm and animal produce. Low production per unit area in hilly areas because of poor soil health, because of indigenous rearing of livestock and varieties of plants. The production per animal is very low. Production per area is very low. That obviously in turn comes into that their income becomes low. Their livelihood resources, they shrink, and that's obviously then that becomes a part of it. Then low input use, they don't use the input resources properly. There is lack of transport, storage facilities, marketing facilities of agriculture commodities. Transport facilities are not available in every part of tribal area. Storage, they don't have storage facility available. Bulk milk coolers are not available. Even if there is a produce, it needs to be immediately marketed. If market is not available, they will have to sell it at meager prices because they don't have storage facilities available with them. They can't store these farm produce till the market becomes they improves, but they have to sell it at very low costs to the middlemen. So that's again a problem with there. Even though there are schemes from the government side that farmer producer organization which can meet out this marketing challenge to a larger extent. So but they need to be made aware about it, and they can be implemented in those areas also. The schemes need to be implemented in those areas. Extreme poverty is there, leading to migration. Now the people have started migration from that place because of extreme poverty. They come out of those tribal areas and they go to the rural areas or cities and towns. They work as laborers. And youth, this is very challenging, and this is very surprising and very unfortunate that the youth, they are losing interest in farming. This is a scenario which we are witnessing all over India, that the young boys, the youth, they are not so much interested in farming these days. So that we need to that's why in our we are very fortunate that government of Jammu and Kashmir, UT of Jammu and Kashmir, has come up with one holistic agriculture development plan. We call that HADP plan. The total budget of that is around 5,000 crores. So that aims at these things. So address these challenges, and so that's a very good initiative the government of UT has taken up recently, and we are on to it. The university, the field staff, and all those associated with the agriculture and this, they have been made part of it, and we are working hard to implement that on the ground as well. And lastly, the climate vagaries. You name any climatic condition, any climate vagaries, the tribal people, they are at receiving it. Be that hailstorm, be that dry spell, be that cloud burst or heavy showers, everything they are at the receiving end. And these are all factors, these lead to health issues, food, nutrition, income security of farmers of tribal areas. So where we are focusing, that these all the issues, they lead us to decreased health of plants, decreased health of animals, decreased health of humans, and food, nutritional, income insecurity of farmers of tribal areas. So if we work on these areas one by one, we need to find out these areas, we need to work on these areas by different interventions. We need to take different initiatives in integrated manner so that we can address these challenges, and which can lead us in improving food, income, and livelihood security of tribal farmers. And then if we talk of animal husbandry, I think that the concept of mobile veterinary healthcare and community services to tribal cluster villages is an important thing which we need to do. Basically, our area is there are tribal areas, and it's a migratory route for summer grazing as well for the livestock. So if there is mobile veterinary healthcare services which can reach to these far-flung areas, we can have community level services. In this, what we want to do is that we want to train the local community over there. We want to provide them with basic veterinary service knowledge. We want to just upskill them. And maybe we want to identify certain people, certain young youth who are educated. We want to identify them. We will give them the basic knowledge about the emergency conditions in veterinary healthcare, how to treat them, what are the basic veterinary practices. They will be substitute. They will be a part of, they will implement the other health workers, veterinary health workers. They will not be a substitute to the animal husbandry workers, but they will be implementing, they will be increasing their hand holding. So that has to be there. The community health services, what we intend to do is that we will train few people, cluster village, we identify the people, we will train them, we will provide them the kits so that they become upskilled at the time of emergency. They are able to treat the livestock at their own level, at their own areas, particularly during harsh winters, during the harsh winter conditions. Then delivery of veterinary healthcare services. By this means, the healthcare services, it will reach to the doorstep of the tribal farmers. And capacity building and awareness is important for all of these tribal areas for adopting scientific management practices of livestock management and rearing. Skill empowerment of tribal youth. we in which I was already talking about on basic veterinary healthcare services, like there'll be it will be discussed about deworming will be taught to them, vaccination, castration, artificial insemination, hoof trimming, and other emergency services, so that at times of emergencies they'll not be forced to go to uh, the far up places or leave the animal to die in emergency conditions. They will be upskill to that level that they will be treat the emergency conditions at their own places at the minimal charges, at a minimal cost. So that's what we want, the intervention from the animal husbandry side, besides other interventions also, like the cold chain facility for vaccine, diagnostic antigens. Usually we go for vaccination in these areas. Cold chain is not maintained in vaccines, and there's no use of conduct of these vaccination drivers in those areas if cold chain is not maintained. So that area also needs to be covered. AI facility, as I already discussed, the AI coverage in those areas is very poor. So we have to have some AI facility for breed improvement programs. I already discussed that they rear the indigenous breeds, they don't rear the crossbred breeds as such. Their production is very poor. So for that, to address that, we need to have some AI, artificial insemination facility, or we can use the sexed semen over there, which can lead us to breed improvement programs in those areas. Then we can devise certain mechanism in addressing the feed and fodder scarcity in the areas. We can provide them latest varieties of, we have our own fodder varieties, KDFM1, which is a maize variety which has been developed by our own university. We can propagate that. We can use that under frontline demonstrations and ask them to cultivate this as fodder. The length of that plant, it goes to around 10 feet, 10 to 11 feet, and then its biomass is huge. They can use it as silage purpose, they can use that as fodder. So that those things need to be taken to them. Then improvement in the germplasm of livestock by way of artificial insemination, by way of sexed semen. Then this management is important. We will have a surveillance of economically important diseases which are found in our area, like FMDs. There are recent outbreaks of lumpy skin disease, foot rot, sheep and goat pox. These are important diseases which are prevalent in our area, in large animal as well as in small animals. So surveillance of economically important diseases we need to carry out, and we need to vaccinate them against these important diseases wherever possible, and to find out the ways of prevention and control of these important viral, bacterial, or parasitic diseases in these tribal areas. So the probable impact of these initiatives, which I was discussing, can be that effective and efficient delivery of veterinary healthcare services to these and inaccessible tribal areas will be there. If we have mobile veterinary healthcare services, which I discussed, its implementation can lead us to effective delivery of veterinary healthcare services to the inaccessible tribal areas. It will promote and strengthen livelihood of tribal poor, which is our objective. Then by community skill this training, we will select and train and empower community and health workers, which I already discussed from the very start, that our focus should be local community. We need to select them, we need to train them, we need to empower them, so that they can become the local animal health workers. They can come to the rescue of the animals anytime they need during the emergency conditions. We need to raise awareness about scientific livestock practice rearing, improve the animal health. Animal health can be improved by better vaccination, better deworming campaigns, animal husbandry campaigns, and all those things, they'll be a part of it. Then it will have a significant impact on profitability of dairy farming, goat farming, cluster village, thereby improving the quality of life. This is the brief program. What are the subset of these programs? Like, if we want to improve the food and nutritional security of target families, we need to have benchmark survey of farm families first. Then we need to discuss about the milk production and management of dairy animals. We need disease management of livestock. We need to have focus on that. We need introduction and management of backyard poultry. Uh, we used to rear the indigenous poultry birds. The average weight of those birds used to be around 1 kg or 1.25 kgs, and they used to produce around 60 to 70 eggs per year. But we have now elite birds, elite quality birds, like we have golden keystone, we have white keystone, we have one raja. They produce around 200 eggs per per year, and their body weight is also around 3 kgs. It goes up to 3 kgs. So production wise, the backyard poultry, they can we can inculcate the backyard poultry farming there with elite birds, so they can utilize the production, the egg production. If it is there, they can utilize those eggs. Their children can use those eggs. The pregnant ladies can take those eggs, and which can in turn result in improvement in their health condition. And they can also, if there is any surplus production, if there's any more production, they can sell it also. Usually we have so many farmers who are selling these eggs at 15 rupees per egg, and it's selling like anything. So that's a very important. We are already into it. We are doing these kind of initiatives. We are taking up these initiatives at Krishi Vigyan Kendra Budgam also, in the form of frontline demonstrations, where we are distributing these birds of elite quality in different areas, in tribal areas and non-tribal areas. I have already done it during my tenure over there, but we need to do it more. We need to reach out to them. We need to reach out to every family through this. Introduction of improved photocrops, already discussed that. We have university released photographs which have not reached to the farmers yet, which are there in the lab itself, or small trials have been conducted and they have not been taken to the farmers field. We are doing it, but we need to do more about it. We need to have more seeds of these photographs, so then we can take it to these tribal people. They can sow. And we have success stories also in this area, where we have taken up the maize, we have given the seed to them, of this KDFM1 seed has been given to them, and it has performed wonderfully in those areas. But that needs to be replicated in other tribal areas. That needs to be replicated in other areas also. This thing. So improving the second activity under this is improving economic security of target families. Economic security can be improved by breed improvement of sheep for mutton purpose. Previously, our focus was on wool type breed. Kashmir Merino, it's basically a wool type breed, because previously we used to fetch good amount for wool, but the market of wool has decreased over here. It's not fetching a good market. Now the focus of the government and the focus of us is that we need to shift from wool type breed to a mutton type breed. And by different breed improvement programs, like use of sexed semen, use of embryo transfer technology, and use of the elite germplasm we can have. So that can result in this. Then cattle improvement of cattle for milk purpose. We can, so again, it can be done by various mechanisms, by artificial intelligence coverage, by this artificial insemination, or by use of sexed semen. And this government of India is already under the scheme Rashtriya Gokul Mission. They are providing breed improvement, these breed cattle breeding farms. They are providing 50% subsidy on that. If you are going for that cost is one of my farmer, who is from the Khag village of Budgam. Recently, a farm under Rashtriya Gokul Mission has been sectioned, that cattle breeding farm worth 4 crore rupees, and he has got subsidy of 2 crore rupees from government of India, and the loan component he will be getting from Punjab National Bank. But we need to, again, the schemes are there. I'm already putting a thrust on this. The schemes are there available with the government, but we need to take it to the farmers that this is the type of the scheme you need to take. You need to look into it. You need to adopt this scheme. Only then they can utilize schemes in a proper way, in a judicious way. So that has to be, scheme implementation should also be a part of it. Then introduction of, I already discussed, layer and dual purpose breeds. Then farm waste disposal through composting. Compost, vermicompost, which when we convert the farm produce, the manure and the other produce this into a vermicompost, its value increases. The value of per kg of vermicompost, it sells at around 15 to 20 rupees. So if you are able to convert by low cost vermicompost sheds, government of, or UT government is also under different schemes. They are providing in their village, they are providing this vermicompost units also. So they can convert in. We need to teach them how to convert this waste into wealth, how to convert the manure into the organic manure into vermicompost, which can lead to, they can sell it or they can use it in their own field, and which can lead to increased productivity and other things. Then project number 3 is the skill development of target youth. We need human resource development through capacity building, skill development of animal health workers, exposure visits, organizing self-help groups and producer organization. We need to formulate, form and promote farmer producer organizations. which is an important focus of the government of India also, that farmer producer organizations, people need to be made aware about the benefits of farmer producer organization, how they can form an association, how they can be incentivized, how they can get benefited out of it, so that there is an improvement, there is livelihood and this income improvement for of tribal people. Then fourth and important, at the end of this all these interventions, we will have impact and socio-economic assessment. What has been the impact of all these interventions, which already, once we formulate a project, once we implement it at the ground level, the end part of the project becomes impact analysis and socio-economic assessment. The report writing, success stories, and impact analysis, if any have. Then quickly, this was about the animal side, what we need to do. If we talk of soil health issues in tribal areas, there are the soil health. Soil is very poor in organic carbon. There is imbalanced use of fertilizer. Land degradation is very high, but there is soil erosion. Weak soil structure is there in tribal areas. In our part of Budgam, the land is slopy. We call it Kareva land, because there are alpine pastures, there are subalpine pastures. It's slopy land. They don't irrigate it. Their irrigation properties, there's this irrigation facilities are not proper there. It's usually the area with the tribal areas are usually rain fed. The irrigation facilities are not proper there, and this all results into low soil fertility in those areas. So our focus has to be on certain initiatives, like how we can better improve the soil health. We can better improve the soil health through different practices, like integrated watershed management, soil mapping for nutrient deficiencies. We can have the soil analysis. The soil analysis, we are doing it at our own lab at KVK Budgam. In very short duration of time, we have calibrated a device recently with IIT Kharagpur, this AgriNext company. We have got MOU signed with them, and we are utilizing their machine, and it tests the soil sample within 10 to 20 minutes. It gives you the results on your Android phone. So that can be done. The soil mapping needs to be done for nutrient deficiencies. Then we can restore soil on degraded and marginal land. It needs to be, we need to find out the degraded and marginal lands where we need to have soil restoration. Maintain soil-based ecosystem services, water availability and quality. Enhance soil productivity according to natural conditions there. Then these all can be achieved through good practices of soil health. These are the few practices which we can have over there, that we can have crop rotation, forage and biomass planting, manure management, nutrient management, prescribed grazing. We need not to overgraze. We have to have rotational grazing in those areas, livestock rotational grazing. What has to be, should be over that. Otherwise, the grazing, it leads to overgrazing, leads to decreased soil health. Then we can have tree or shrub establishment in these areas, and we can integrate different livestock together, cattle, small ruminants, and other. We can integrate them and we can use them as soil. These are different. Other than that, we can have other soil health initiatives which we can take up in these areas, so that the soil health becomes good by all these means. This is with respect to plant health. There are certain components of plant health management also as well, like genetic host resistance, cultural practices. We need to follow crop rotation, sanitation, tillage, improving crop growth conditions, and selection of resistant cultivars. Then biological control of pests and other things. Regulatory measures like quarantine, pathogens, pest surveillance, and then stored grain pest detection. These are other components. The main reason for the poor plant health management in tribal areas is that they are using low yielding varieties of plants, of vegetables, which are susceptible to biotic and abiotic stress. So that's the one part of it, that their yield becomes low, and these plants are susceptible to biotic and abiotic stress. There is lack of awareness regarding all those things which I discussed about good plant health management practices which are there, like crop rotation, intercropping, mulching, cover crops, manuring, and composting. They don't follow it. Then they have lack of farm machinery. Their technology, like farm machinery technology, it has not been it has not been there in the tribal areas. They don't use the farm machinery. They are still dependent on the manual way of working. They are not utilizing it. So in this endeavor, we can have certain initiatives to address these, like we can have introduction of high yielding varieties of released by the SKUASTK of different this we have different varieties you name. We have for example in rice we have SR4 SR5 varieties. SR4 is for low altitude, and SR5 Shalimar rice 5 is for high altitude this uh, regions like tribal regions. We can have SR5 varieties of paddy there, and the production of this is almost 3-4 times higher than the indigenous variety they cultivate. We can use those varieties. And likewise we can, in case of fodder, as I already discussed, we have so many fodder varieties of oats which has been released by the university or that of this maize where the biomass is very high, and they can plant it in their areas, and they can increase the productivity by means of these high yielding varieties of different plants, different vegetables and different fruit plants. They can be introduced in these areas. Then we have developed our own resistant varieties which are resistant to certain which are resistant to pests, which are resistant to blast, which are resistant to extreme weather conditions. We have developed our own varieties at cost. So we need introduction of those resistant varieties in these tribal areas also. It can be done through different awareness campaigns, through different training programs, through different frontline demonstrations, and there are different programs, different schemes which we can have those means. We can introduce these high yielding varieties and other resistant varieties in these areas, in these tribal areas, to improve the plant health. This then introduction of tillage implements. We need to implement like cultivars. Different cultivars can be introduced there. Different rollers can be different weeders, and the concept of different cultivars can be introduced there, so that the farming becomes mechanized in this, because we are already telling about the digitalized farming and other things. So it will be only possible once their implements are taken to them. They're given to know that they can use them, they can reduce the tragedy, they can reduce their labor cost by use of these farm implements, and they can manage their farming in a better way, and their plants can be healthy. Their production can be production per unit area can be more by use of these initiatives. I'm discussing here and initiatives in brief. I'm not discussing. I have paucity of time. That's why I'm discussing the initiatives in brief. So again, then I discussed about the animal health part, I discussed about the soil health part, I discussed about the plant health part in brief. Then if we talk of the human health, the challenges are very high. If we talk of the human health, they suffer from the malnutrition, they suffer from low body mass index, low body weight, communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, and other health issues in these tribal areas. They are very much there. And this malnutrition, other things, low body weight, it again makes them susceptible to other diseases, and leading to chronic illnesses like tuberculosis, and other chronic illnesses. Because of all these things, they don't have. It has been seen that huge population of tribal areas, they take the nutrients below the recommended daily allowances as per the Indian Council of Medical Research. What they recommend, that daily allowances what are to be taken by the people, they take below that daily recommended allowances in nutrients they take. So this good nutrition is what they need throughout the life, and is particularly vital for women, since women, they are associated with they should be, or focus should be particularly women folk of this. Especially during pregnancies or lactating mothers, we have seen that these pregnant and lactating mothers, they usually suffer from anemia, they suffer from poor growth, they suffer from low body weight. And this section of the society should be our prime focus, that we need to find out how we can better improve the condition of these pregnant women and lactating mothers, because in addition to their own health, they have to take care of the health of the child which is in their womb, or they are lactating and the child of their child. So two persons are associated with a single woman in that case. So we have to focus them, we have to target them. Nutritional anemia is a major problem we've seen in these areas. It is there is a report on that anemia is very much prevalent in tribal women, those who are linked. Maternal malnutrition is predominantly a serious health problem among tribal women, especially for those who are closely associated, who are dealing with pregnancies and all those. So again, we there is a report from our valley which has been published in 2017, that there is a gross deficit in the nutrient intake among scheduled tribe women of Kashmir. If we talk of macronutrient intake, it's around they are deficient of 26.94%. Protein deficient is around 36.26%. Calorie deficient, and for micronutrient intake deficient above half, 53.8. Calcium deficient is around 62.3%. So from this, it is obvious that they suffer from deficiency of micronutrients, they suffer deficiency of macronutrients, then they suffer from protein deficiency and caloric deficiencies all as well. So in this endeavor, the initiatives which we can take is that first we need to find out the status of vulnerable segments of tribal population, women and children. They have to be our main focus from tribal areas of Budgam. Then we can introduce improved varieties of livestock, cereal, vegetables for dietary supplementation to enhance their nutritional status. So if we are already managing farm health in a better way, if we are improving the productivity, if we are managing the farm, that obviously will lead to improved nutritional status. That will provide them good nutrition at home, and they can utilize that nutritious food for themselves, and they can use that. Obviously that will result in improved nutritional status. Like I discussed about the poultry kind of a thing, if we provide them elite poultry birds, they can utilize the eggs, they can consume it at their own level, they can sell the surplus at the time of need. The women can sell it also, they can get their income out of that also. So these kind of interventions will help them with a great deal in improving the food income and livelihood security. Then we need to provide them additional supplementation if we find out the malnutrition deficiency cases wherever reported, they might need additional supplementation in case of iron supplementation, calcium supplementation, other kind of things. That will depend upon the status, that will depend upon the data which we will get after proper survey and evaluation of these areas. So that's again the initiatives which we can elaborate these initiatives. We can include some other initiatives into it. There's always a scope for improvement. I'm not of the opinion that this is the end of the initiatives. Their initiatives can be very vast. We as different stakeholders, they can give their input. We will include that input in our initiatives, in our challenge. It's always open for discussion, it's always open for improvement. So that will always be there. So and the last part of it is that fish sector, or the fish sector, it doesn't have that much of viability in our tribal areas, because it's, as I already discussed, that it's a rain fed area. The people, they are dependent upon the rains, and it is basically the fisheries sector. It needs perennial water source, which is hardly available in these tribal areas. Even if it is available at some locations, we can explore the possibility of fisheries sector. Even though it's a good sector, the fishery kind of a thing, it's high in protein, it's low in this cholesterol and other things. It doesn't have cholesterol, it's good for health. If it is there, it can be a major boost in improving the nutritional condition of the tribal farmers. But we have to see to it that where is the feasibility of fisheries in those areas, where is the perennial source, wherever the perennial source of it is available, we can we can work on this. These are certain diseases which are very much prevalent: bacterial, fungal, viral and parasitic diseases which are prevalent in certain tribal areas. They need to be addressed in our area. They can be addressed by use of certain practices, good practices on fish farm, like good quality water should be there, pond environment should be healthy. We need to keep the fish in good condition, control stocking density, keep different sizes if necessary to control fighting. These are good fishery practices which we need to follow. Prevent the entry of disease organisms from outside the farm, then prevent the spread of disease organisms within the farm. These are a couple of things, and these are again the good managemental practices with respect to the fisheries sector. Sustainable aquaculture production should be there. Providing living condition to the animals as close to their natural habitats. Then any program that maximizes health and well-being of culture species, minimizes environmental effects, and promotes an efficient and economic aquaculture operation. The reporting of aquaculture animal disease, if it is there some animal disease there, we need to report it to some Android based app is there on fish disease reporting system. We need to report so that we can strengthen the disease reporting and surveillance part in the country. Then conclusion is simple, that it is that by integration of farm health management, it's a holistic approach aiming at improving the food, income, and livelihood security of tribal farmers. Then I will like to take you to Ladakh virtually, where I was served. These are the areas in the tribal areas, full glimpses of my experience of working in tribal areas. You can see the condition around this. You can see the local people staying there. Usually, you will find out the women folk, the men, they usually go take the cattle and the livestock for grazing, and the females are available for this. They are involved in multiple farm activities. Females in Ladakh, the condition is different there. And this is the training programs, awareness programs which we conducted in Ladakh at different, even at 16,000 feet altitude, we conducted these programs. And for days together, we used to be out of our station, and we used to put up at some it's different locations during those programs, because in Ladakh you will find the villages are almost 50 kilometers apart from each other. You'll find after 50 kilometers this distance, you'll find another village, and with having a limited density of people, you'll find a small hamlet located in isolated pockets at 50 kilometers distance. So it's very difficult to work under those conditions. But we have tried from our level. I have served in those areas for about 2 years, for initially at Neoma. So these are the pictures from Neoma where I served, and this is the tribal areas of Zanaskar, where you can see I have conducted multiple animal health camps over there. You can see the condition of the livestock over there. From the pictures, it's obvious they are very the condition is not so good of these animals, because their nutrient management is not proper. So it's there. Am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. Please continue, sir.
Okay. So again, these are the pictures of Zanaskar region, which is around 250 kilometers distance from Kargil. A very difficult terrain. It remains cut off from rest of the world for about 7-8 months. It remains cut off from rest of the world. And the people in these areas, as Professor Moni, while introducing me to the profile, I was associated with one tribal subplan project in that area. So under that project, we conducted various activities, various animal health camps in those area, and I have a rich experience of working with them, and I know the condition from which they are suffering and the help they need from all of us. They need from the government. They need initiatives, such kind of initiatives. Professor Moni has taken a wonderful initiative at the national level. He's there. He's working very hard. He's keeping everybody on toes for it. But it's in the larger good of these tribal communities. I think it's a very nice job he's doing. But this is I want to take it to you through. So these are while traveling for different training programs. These are some pictures which we have taken. This is the snowfall. You can see the snowbound mountains. Even in the month of June, July, you will find these snowbound mountains over there, and you can see on the yellow color bus we are carrying. This is the road there. It's not macadamized, nothing. It is just we are moving through the areas. So this is the condition. But in our area in Kashmir Valley, the conditions are much better as compared to Ladakh area. Ladakh is still virgin. It has not been still a lot needs to be done there, and the geographical terrains are very difficult there. They are natural conditions. Naturally, they are difficult there. But in our part of the world, in Kashmir Valley, the conditions are not so bad. But this is of Ladakh region. So this is it. I thank all of you for giving me a patient hearing and for being for bearing with me, for giving me this much amount of time. I'm highly thankful to Professor Moni. Hope I have done justice to the lecture to some extent, to the best of my capacity and best of my capability. So thank you, Professor Moni, for giving me an opportunity. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. And you can, I should salute you for your contribution at this age. And just 1 minute. You put the thank you one. You put thank you one. I will sketch. Just 1 minute. Okay. And at this age, you are able to show a, a, a approach, a methodology to the young scientists and youths. You can come out from the presentation mode, Dr. Nadeem. And I should salute you. I should thank you, you and your team, especially the scientists from KVK, both in Newma or Sunstar or Budgam. And also now I am witnessing for, even though you said that I'm taking all the people into tasks. The thing is, that is, we have to see the development. Today, the technology is available. And if India has to be a digitalized India, and we have to be a global leader, we have to mainstream all villages into the mainstream. It is very important. And since I have been working for the last 40 years from the grassroots level development programs through technology, digital technology, I thought that it is very important. That's why I incorporated everything into the doubling farmers' income by 2022. We achieved everything and vertically. And today we have to work with the at least 89% of these, farming community, which are small and marginal farmers. And they are the, food security network. They form the food security network in the country. That's why I thought that technology is the only way, and let us do that. I'm very happy people like you are attending weekly meetings, and I quite impressed the way in which you prepared the one component to have a national attention. There's a seventh mission mode program of doubling farmers' income. You have seen it from the perspective from that, a different terrain, both Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory of Ladakh, and you have worked under the KVK, under the part of ICAR KVK, and also under the control of Sher-e-Kashmir Agricultural University, Srinagar. You've done wonders. And that's why when I saw your synopsis, when you initiated it, and I also thank your head of the KVK, Dr. Bilal Saab, for introducing you to this program. And I also thank Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Sher-e-Kashmir Agriculture University, Dr. Ganai Saab. He has taken a very wonderful steps to ask all the KVKs to, interact with me through the weekly programs to initiate pilot projects. And also more credits to Professor, Muhammad Ashraf Budji. He has done a wonderful, attachment that he said that in my first meeting, that after meeting with Dr. Ashok Dalwai, he said that, Dr. Ashok Dalwai has told him, the chairman of the Doubling Farmers System, Professor Moni, former Director General NIC, is doing a wonderful job of operationalizing the digital technology in agriculture. Not only now and not only after Doubling Farmers Income Committee, it has made it as a mission for the last 30, 40 years. So he said that it is very important. Let us have to have a component of holistic agriculture development plan. If that is 5,000 crores, why can't we have 10% of the 5,000 crore plan for digitalization of agriculture in UT of Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir? See, if you digitalize it, if it means that if you agriculture development so far is administration at the state level, central level, state level, and district level, and agricultural institution, and for an agriculture is a private sector, and now the time has come that it has to work like a PPP model, public private participation and panchayat. It's a 4P. public-private panchayat participation and the farmers that. So this is very important. I thought that it is important, and today is the 107th edition. You have done for the last, I think, about more than 1 hour for 30 minutes. You've done wonderful job of presenting a view which should become like a policy paper for operationalization. A scientist who is in the prime development, and you have got this much aspiration in your mind, to bring in development through science, technology, innovation, which many people don't even, even you go to the people, technocrats and scientists and administrators in the mainland, they don't even visit. But you have shown the pictures that you are at the height of 13,000 feet above mean sea level. It shows the dedication. And I know, let me hear that if your colleague, Dr. Sajia, is there participating. Madam, welcome, and we heard. You can put your video on. Sajaji, hello. Can you unmute? Can you unmute? Hello. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, sir.
Can you put your video on so that you are also will be visible to the whole world?
Okay, sir. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
So it is, let her join. And I felt very happy that during your program, you said that let there be a separate budget component of smart tribal farming under tribal sub-plan. And that's why, and you have realized my intention, why I put smart tribal farming in the Dr. Ashok Dalwai committee reports at volume 12B. And now you've realized it. And I think those who are listening to this, talk will realize that there has to be a separate component for smart tribal farming under tribal sub-plan, some percentage for helping the tribal community of those tribal villages, 1,45,000 tribal villages. And you have done wonders, Dr. Nadeem, Hassan. And Mr. Manishji, is there any query or feedback have come in our chat box? Can you publish? Yes. Dar Mudasir, I think it is a very nice initiative to develop people of tribal areas. Thank you very much. And Mr. Dr. Nadeem, can you react to the suggestions which has come?
I think Ram Mudassir has appreciated this initiative. I'd like to thank from our side for the humble beginning which we want to carry out in that area. I'd like to thank Dr. Mudassir for appreciating this initiative. Thank you, Mudassir.
I welcome Madam Dr. Sajia, and
Yes,
I
sir.
think we have also got. You can put Mr. Manish. You can put this query. Madam, it is Safia Shah, not only for tribal people but for overall Budgam district. It is, yes, that is necessary because, and just 1 minute. You put the previous query. I will take to the screen. Just 1 minute, because all in the UGC always want that what is the proof which you conducted the webinar, that I have to put one in our website. And the next line, Mr. Manish ji, put the next one. You put it that. Okay. We are thankful that such concerns are taken seriously. Thank you very much. And now let me request Madam Dr. Sajia that you have listened to. Oh, it's very good. I'm very happy that a lot of things are coming. Dr. Nadeem, you respond.
Sir, I don't know the person. You have always taken
But
high steps for betterment of poor farmers. No, it's. I think it's my prime duty to work for the farming community. I'm being paid for that.
you,
I don't. I don't. I
Manishi, you
consider.
put the query when he is discussing. Let the people know that. Please flash it. Okay.
The person has mentioned that I have taken high steps for betterment of poor farmers, but I will take this thing as a compliment, and I'd like to say that it's my duty to work for the poor farmers. And if I am able to just, do something from my side, I'll consider myself lucky enough doing that, because I'm meant for those for small farmers, and it's my duty, and I'll be working in future also for those farmers in best to the best of my capacity and to the best of my capability. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's good. You continue in, reading out and then comment on that. Hello.
Organic farming is to be encouraged in tribal communities and to make their livelihood possible out of it. Yes, even though I have not used the word organic farming, but once I discussed vermicomposting and soil health management and waste to wealth kind of a thing, that obviously speaks of organic farming. And indeed, Shafika Shaji is very right about it, that organic farming is the need of the hour, and it will be a part of. It will be a part of. It's a natural part of this project, which will be taken up, which we will be focusing on. So that concern will be taken. Suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are not more feedbacks, Manish Kashnial, proud to be a university student. Thank you very much. Okay, and I think Dr. Nadeem ji, you have the student community also participating, and it means that we have done our job very effectively. Okay. Can I request Dr. Sajia ji that you have listened to the address by Dr. Nadeem, and how do you see this presentation, how we should go about it? Over to you, madam. And
So the
I'm seeing that there are some voices. You can also put your child also on the video. Okay, let she or he let him also be shown. Otherwise, he will
Sir,
make
the
more noise.
Sir, the
Okay.
presentation given by the Mir Nadeem was very excellent, and it covers almost all the components, including the veterinary, soil, agronomy, and more importantly, the health issues faced by these tribal people. He has done very wonderful job by aggregating all these components together in a one presentation, and he has focused mostly on outreach of the scientists to the tribal community, to these hilly areas communities, because that is a need of the hour. We have a lot of technologies that is in our Sher-e-Kashmir University, but perhaps we are not able to communicate the same to the tribal people. But he has done a very wonderful job by presenting the various ways by which we can reach to these tribal people. He has done an excellent job.
Thank you very much. Now we have to convert the today's address as an actionable plan, and I will request Dr. Mir Nadeem Hassan and his team from the KVK to prepare a pilot project in the identified tribal village and under smart tribal farming, which we would like to prepare this within 2 months' time, bringing in adoption of Dr. Ashok Dalwai committee report on digital technology in agriculture, what is to be done, how we should go about it, and the objective is that during the project period, how to make the rural boys and girls, and in the tribal area and the tribal farmers, both men and women, to get facilitated by the technology. And when you see these areas are all very distant area, difficult situations. I was really moved when he shown a virtual picture that they are conducting the training program. Even there is no place for even to put the that backdrop. They have to put it on a with a backdrop, the back support of some stones, and they are depending upon the natural farming for producing something for themselves and also for the animals. And it's I was really moved. And this is where that India lives, where we have to bring in technology. And this is I'm very happy for organizing this. Of course, this webinar series is one of the well received and well viewed webinar series. And I thank Dr. Ashok Dalwai, the former chairman of the agriculture doubling farmers income by 2022, and also my honorable chancellor, you know and Honorable Vice Chancellor, and the faculty members, and also the faculty members and the farmers and NGOs participating from Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory of Ladakh, and every week to discuss with them and bring out projects. And in this process, now we are able to now have a first project proposal preparation for tribal villages of Srinagar, which comes Srinagar district, which comes under KVK Srinagar. And now next I would like to hope to get such a proposal from Budgam. It's very nice. And Dr. Nadeem, Hassan, I don't have words to express my appreciation, but my highest appreciation to you and your team doing this wonderful one. And I wish you that you become the torch bearer as among the scientists, to bring in overall development in the difficult areas. Once you do this overall development through agriculture one, that is sustainable agriculture and livelihood opportunities, then the whole world will look towards your achievement. That's why on 9th August, when we celebrated the World Tribals Day, and our honorable Chancellor Shekhar Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra, he put it that commemorating World Tribal Day, advancing smart tribal farming, and that was an appropriate greeting message. And Her Excellency Honorable President of India, Madam Draupadi Murmu, we thought that when she has taken over the presidency of Republic of Bharat, and we thought that it is very important that this component, smart tribal farming, should be addressed to. And we have conducted more than 225 webinars in this area, and I'm getting support like anything from different parts of the country. And this pilot project is going on from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and from northeastern region to west coast of India. And this will bring it out, operational project, pilot project, and this can be replicatable in 145,000 tribal villages. So thank you very much, Dr. Nadeem Hassan. And I would like to hear from you your final words, and then we'll close the webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think, as I already thanked all of you, Professor Moni, then the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of the Shobhit University, deemed university, and I forgot to thank my own Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Nazir Ahmad Ganai, sir, under whose able leadership we are moving very swiftly in the direction of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And he has indeed revolutionized the concept of introduction of the concept of startups, entrepreneurship, and going global, and doing some path breaking, taking some path breaking initiatives at the university level. Within short span of 1.5 year tenure, he has been as vice chancellor. So it's by his intervention only, by his the involvement only, that I am here in front of you. I am a part of his national webinar. So I would like to thank our honorable vice chancellor, Nazir Sahab, Professor Nazir Sahab also. Because of him, I'm here. So, and I think from our side, this is a humble beginning. As you gave me the time frame of 2 months to project to prepare a pilot project, and from my side, I'll be trying to complete it within that stipulated time frame. Even maybe within 1 month, I'll be trying to complete that, and hopefully, I'll be with a holistic pilot project will be available with me, which will I be submitting to yourself. And from our side, it will be a humble beginning, and I hope from we'll get the support from the government also in this endeavor, so that we'll be able to implement it, and we will be able to do whatever we can from our part for these tribal communities. I think it's not we are doing something great for them, but it's that we must do, every one of us who is a part of the system, we must do it. It's a responsibility on our shoulders, that we must do these kind of things for the tribal communities, and they need it, they direly need it. As I told you that I have been in Ladakh for 2 years, and I know the feelings they carry, the problems they have, because I have been closely associated with them. And it's their life is really miserable, their life is very challenging. So if by these means, if we are able to a bit of this needs are met from our side, so that will be a great achievement from our side. So hopefully this is an initiative which you have taken. This is a nice initiative, and I've not seen many people taking such initiatives of the national importance, and taking at this level, being I received your message at late at 10 p.m. also. That speaks that you are very much involved into it, even during your night hours also. Uh, but I made it sure that I'll be a part of this national webinar. Otherwise, I was also on the move. From last 10 days, I was out of station, but I came just day before yesterday, and I had promised to be a part of it, and to this, and I think I tried my level best to just deliver to justice
Thank you
to the
very
topic.
much.
Thank you
Thank you
you for
very
giving me.
much, and that is the spirit. And this one will motivate every scientist like you, from Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory of Ladakh, will motivate them to bring it out. I also would like to, in this occasion, I also would like to say that last week on Saturday, we had a presentation by Dr. Muhammad Hussein Shah, former Dean, Faculty Agriculture of the Sher-e-Kashmir Agriculture University, Srinagar. He has delivered a very important topic, and these are all very much relevant. Today's topic and the topic which he has talked about it addresses very major issues, and that is that smart tribal farming, digitalized graceland, for empowering, uh, that Gujar, Bakarwals, nomadic uh, tribes in the UT of Jammu and Kashmir. It was well received, and these problems are very important. And today, technology can, solve by, networking with agri-tech entrepreneurs and innovators from every institution, both the private, public, and the cooperative. It's very important. And farmers, both tribal farmers and non-farmal tribal farmers, small and marginal farmers, will be the core. So India is an agrarian economy, and we have to put India as the toppest in the global arena through the agricultural, for making farming as as a service, so that every farmer in India is become a millionaire. That is very important. And with this, I thank every one of you, and I thank the head of KVK Budgam and your colleagues, Dr. Hassan, and also the all the participants who sent their feedback, and Mr. Manish Chhabra, who is now, he is the man behind the screen to
Screen.
conducting this webinar. I thank him, and above all, and I would like to also thank our Honorable Chancellor, Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra, and Honorable Vice Chancellor, and faculty members, and my project team, and also all the NGOs throughout the country who are involved in operationalizing some components of digital technology in agriculture under smart tribal farming. And with this, initiatives, I think we will have an international center for smart farming and international center for smart tribal farming in the days to come. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll close the webinar.